Friends, welcome back to 18th week. We are going to discuss the events of the week from 27th April to 3rd May. Let us discuss what are the important events of the week. Operation Maitri, rescue and rehabilitation works in Himalayan country Nepal, where extensive damage was caused because of severe earthquake. Looking into the other aspects, a visit of Ashraf Ghani, President of Afghanistan to India. Chief Justice of India refused to participate in NJAC deliberations till Supreme Court decides the validity of NJAC. Finance bill passed by Lok Sabha without Public Debt Management Act provision. The other aspect is SubCommittee of Niti Aayog favors reducing centrally sponsored schemes, minimum pension of ₹1,000 per month, relief to sugar mills, customs duty increased from 25 to 40%. Cabinet approves Smart Cities Mission as well as Amrith. In addition to Hriday, Prasad is coined for places of religious importance. Then roaming charges were reduced by telcos. Then death of Freddie Gray in America, which resulted in lot of anger in the African American community. President Barack Obama also expressed his dissatisfaction over the state of affairs in America. Japan Prime Minister's visit to USA for cementing defense ties. This assumed significance in view of the Japan's straining of ties with China with regard to Senkaku Islands. Look into the other aspects. Indonesia executed 8 drug traffickers and Australia recalled its ambassador. Sri Lanka adopts 19th Constitution Amendment Bill and a baby was born in royal family of England. 4th in line of succession. These are the important events. Messenger crashes into Mercury. And last but not the least is Floyd Mayweather's victory over Manny Pacquiao of Philippines. Let us look one by one, right? Look into the first event, Nepal devastation and subsequent rescue and rehabilitation works. Nepal was badly damaged because of a severe earthquake of 7.9 on Richter scale last month. The earthquake occurred on 25th of April and subsequently rescue and relief operations are in full swing. Several countries expressed their solidarity with Nepal. India is the first country to reach with the supplies to Nepal. Indian Army is doing what best is possible along with the National Disaster Response Force, popularly known as NDRF. Indian Air Force as well as NDRF are doing their best, and more than 7,500 people died in the worst earthquake during the past 80 years. More than 6 lakh houses got damaged. The other important aspect is Prime Minister along with the several members of Parliament announced 1 month salary. Operation Maitri is going on and Nepal praised India in its efforts to alleviate the suffering of people, and several nations came forward to help Nepal and rescue and rehabilitation works are in full swing, right? We discussed in detail about the Nepal earthquake last week, and let us move on to the next issue of the week. Visit of Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani to India. Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani visited India. No major agreement could be signed, but India expressed its desire to be included in Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement, popularly known as APTTA. India expressed its desire to be included in Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement, popularly known as APTTA, because once this agreement is signed, we will have seamless connectivity between Afghanistan and India, so that we can have seamless trade route towards Iran and beyond through land route. At present, Afghanistan has got this agreement with Pakistan, and India asked Afghanistan to look into the feasibility of inclusion of India in Afghanistan-Pakistan transit trade agreement, and I would like to tell you this assumed significance in view of the fact India is going to develop Chabahar port in Iran. Once this port is developed in Iran, then we can have seamless road connectivity to India through Afghanistan and Pakistan once India is included in Afghanistan-Pakistan transit trade agreement. No major agreement was signed, and let us move on to the next issue. There is a standoff between the government and Chief Justice of India. Recently, NJAC was notified by the Government of India. NJAC consists of Chief Justice of India as chairperson along with the two senior most judges. On one side, that means 3 members of judiciary, 3 non-members of judiciary, you can say political and civil society, that constitutes the Union Law Minister, as well as the 2 eminent persons. NJAC constitutes Chief Justice of India, 2 senior most judges, that means the judiciary 3 members, and on the other side 3 members from political and civil society, that means Union Law Minister, as well as 2 members or 2 eminent persons to be nominated by the Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India, and the leader of the opposition or the leader of the largest political party. That means these 3 members will nominate 2 eminent persons in NJAC. But to associate with this committee, Chief Justice of India, H.L. Dattu, declined to participate in the deliberations to nominate eminent persons because there are several petitions in Supreme Court at present with regard to the validity of National Judicial Appointments Commission. A 5-judge bench headed by Justice Kehar is looking into these petitions. There are arguments and counter arguments going on between judges and Attorney General of India. And under these circumstances, as the validity of NJAC was challenged in Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India declined to participate in the committee to nominate 2 eminent persons. That means a constitutional standoff arose for the time being. Previously, from the year 1993, collegium system was in operation. Judges used to recommend appointment of judges. But now with NJAC, the situation changed. It will have equal representation for selection of judges by the judiciary as well as non-judiciary. But there are several petitions filed in Supreme Court with regard to the validity of NJAC, and 5-judge bench headed by Justice Kehar is looking into these petitions. Under these circumstances, the Chief Justice of India for the time being refused to participate in the deliberations of NJAC. Right friends, look into the next issue. Finance bill passed by Lok Sabha. Under normal circumstances, passing of finance bill is a routine affair every year. I would like to tell you 2 points. 2 important bills are to be passed. One is the finance bill, that means to impose taxes. That means without the passage of finance bill, it is not possible to collect taxes from public. The second bill is appropriation bill. Appropriation bill facilitates withdrawal of money from Consolidated Fund of India So these two, finance bill as well as appropriation bill, these two are important bills to be passed as a part of budget proceedings every year. This year also, finance bill was recently passed in Lok Sabha, but the important aspect here is finance bill this year includes a setting up of a public debt management agency. This year's finance bill initially provides for public debt management agency. So far, public debt is managed by Reserve Bank of India. In the budget, government decided to separate it. But in the last minute, this was taken out of the purview of finance bill, and without public debt management agency, finance bill was passed. So for the time being, please remember this public debt will be managed by Reserve Bank only. In the budget it was announced, separate public debt management agency will be created by taking out the functions of Reserve Bank of India. But now in the last minute, this PDMA was taken out of finance bill, and for the time being, RBI will look into public debt as usual. Second important thing is, initially, service tax was proposed on the premiums of Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana and Atal Pension Yojana. Now that service tax was withdrawn. Third important thing is, so as to give clarity for foreign investors investing in India, certain rules were relaxed with regard to the imposition of minimum alternate tax, or popularly known as MAT. There was lot of confusion over MAT in recent months, and the finance bill gave clear picture about the imposition of MAT on the investments made by foreign institutions into the country. So these three are the major changes in the finance bill. Let us move on to the next issue. 2.96 lakh farmer suicides in 20 years. Official estimate says 2.96 lakh farmer suicides in the past 20 years. Very unfortunate event. Every year, roughly on an average, 15,000 farmers are committing suicides. This shows the agrarian distress, and this year there was a lot of crop damage in several parts of the country because of rain and hailstorm in summer months. During the months of March and April, wheat and other crops were badly damaged, and for the year 2015-16, the expected rainfall is below normal, that is 93% of a long period average. Under these circumstances, it appears that farmer distress will further increase, and there are reports that several farmers are committing suicide even from northern states. Previously, most of the farmer suicides occurred in Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh regions, but now several farmer suicides are being reported from northern parts of the country because of the unseasonal rains and hailstorm in the months of March and April, where several crops were badly damaged. And I would like to tell you, what are the main reasons for agrarian distress? No crop insurance, no proper market, and sometimes non-remunerative price, high input costs, and clutches of money lenders. These are the prime reasons why farmers are in distress. Let us look at the next issue. Changes in Prevention of Corruption Act approved by the Cabinet. Prevention of Corruption Act belongs to 1988. Now there are several changes are proposed by the Union Cabinet, and these proposals will come into force once Parliament approves these proposals. I would like to tell you tentatively what are the changes proposed. The punishment will be for both the bribe giver as well as bribe taker, and all the corruption trials should be completed within 2 years' time. Previously, the minimum punishment was 6 months. Now it is proposed to be increased to 3 years, and the maximum punishment is proposed to be increased from 5 years to 7 years, and the assets of the persons involved in corruption cases can be attached by the trial court this is another legislation proposed. There may be changes when the bill is being discussed in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, but these are the tentative changes proposed in the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 by the Union Cabinet. Look into the next issue, coal block allocation case, charge sheets by CBI, because there were some irregularities found in the allotment of a coal block in Jharkhand state. Industrialist Naveen Jindal, former Minister of State for Coal Dasari Narayana Rao, former Chief Minister of Jharkhand Madhu Koda and several others were charge sheeted for the alleged irregularities in the allotment of coal mine in Jharkhand. Friends, look into the next issue. Subcommittee on Niti Aayog favors reducing centrally sponsored schemes. Under Niti Aayog, several subcommittees are being formed. One such subcommittee on rationalizing the subsidies is headed by Shivraj Singh Chauhan. When this present government took over, there were 66 centrally sponsored schemes. Now, this government introduced another 6 centrally sponsored schemes as per the news reports, and at present there are around 72 centrally sponsored schemes, and some of them may not have much relevance now. And to rationalize the subsidy schemes, Niti Aayog's subcommittee under the chairmanship of Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, is looking into the aspects, and the committee is yet to give its report, but they are in favor of reducing centrally sponsored schemes. Look into the next issue. Minimum pension will be rupees 1000 per month. This is under Employees Pension Scheme, popularly known as EPS, EPS 1995. The minimum pension prescribed now is rupees 1000. This is for organized sector, Employees Pension Scheme of 1995. The minimum pension government notified will be 1000. This will be on perpetual basis. Perpetual basis means it need not be renewed every year. It will be continuous. The minimum pension will be rupees 1000. And look on to the next issue, relief to sugar mills. Sugar mills are under extreme distress. Sugar mills have to pay rupees 21,000 crores to farmers. The arrears of sugar mills to be paid to farmers as on date are rupees 21,000 crores. The problem arose because of the reason there is excess supply of sugar than demand. The demand is less, supply is more. That's why sugar mills are in distress. They are unable to dispose the excess sugar because the supply is more than demand. Under these circumstances, government came up with 3 things. First and the foremost is import duty hiked from 25% to 40%. Import duty hiked from 25% to 40% on the import of sugar to discourage imports, because we are unable to consume our own sugar. What is the point in importing further sugar? That's why import duty is increased from 25% to 40%. Second important thing is, previously there was a scheme in force. This is scheme DFIA, popularly known as DFIA, duty free import authorization. When raw material is imported from another country and process it here, export it, that is called duty free import authorization scheme. That means for the raw material imported from other country, there will be no duty, because that is meant for export after processing. This duty free import authorization scheme was started in the year 2006. Now, this duty free import authorization scheme for raw sugar was withdrawn. Second thing is, excise duty on ethanol supplied for blending was also scrapped. Previously it was 12.36%, now it is made 0. Because of these 3 things, government wants to solve the problem of distress in sugar mills. Let us see how this is going to help. Look into the next issue. Cabinet approved 2 urban projects, Smart Cities Mission. You all well aware 100 smart cities will be built and each smart city will get rupees 100 crores of rupees per year for 5 years. Every year each smart city will get 100 crores of rupees and government wants to develop 100 smart cities under Smart Cities Mission. That means all the services here will be high technology enabled services. That is the smart management services, maybe in education, health, civic services, and 100 smart cities will be developed as per Smart Cities Mission. The second important point is government approved Amrith. What is Amrith? Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. Probably this is in place of Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, which was in existence from 2005. This Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission was started in the year 2005 and initially for a period of 7 years, subsequently the term was extended. Now government came up with the new program Amrith in the name of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, and here government wants to take up 500 cities or towns. 500 cities or towns with the population 1 lakh or above are planned to be taken up under Amrith, and government is not talking about Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. Probably now the towns and cities covered under Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission will be converted to either smart cities or under Amrith. So there are two projects pertaining to urban development. One is Smart Cities Mission, the second one is Amrith. Amrith is for the towns and cities with population of 1 lakh and above, and for this government is going to spend 50,000 crore rupees over the next 5 years. And these two projects put together, Smart Cities Mission as well as Amrith, the total expenditure during the next 5 years is going to be around 1 lakh crores. The main focus of Amrith will be creating necessary infrastructure, whereas the main focus of Smart Cities Mission is high-end services. Right, let us look into the next one. After Hriday, it is the Prasad. We all heard about Hriday. Hriday is the Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana, which was announced during the last financial year. 12 towns were notified under Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana, basically to protect the rich cultural heritage and cultural history. Here central government will fund this entire program. Last year it was announced, total expenditure is going to be 500 crores over a period of 2 years, and out of which Varanasi will get 89 crores of rupees out of 500 crores of rupees. This program was announced during last financial year, but now government came up with the other program. In addition to Hriday, government came up with other program, that is Prasad. Prasad is Pilgrimage Rejuvenation and Spirituality Augmentation Drive. Please don't forget, Hriday is still there. Hriday is basically for cultural heritage. And now government came up with the other program, Prasad. Prasad is Pilgrimage Rejuvenation and Spirituality Augmentation Drive, and here places of religious importance will be taken. And please remember, 10 towns or cities are common in both the programs. There are 12 towns or cities, out of which 10 are common in both the programs, and the guidelines for Prasad are yet to be announced. Guidelines for Prasad are yet to be announced. Look into the next issue. Roaming charges slashed. We have already discussed in the previous classes that Troy ordered to reduce roaming charges. Accordingly, all 5 categories of roaming charges were reduced. The highest reduction is in SMS local. Previously, it was ₹1 per SMS when you are in roaming. Now it is reduced to 25 paise. Right? So, other things you can see in this slide. Let us look into the issues around the world. Unfortunate events taking place in United States of America, basically against African Americans. Excesses of police against African Americans is taking place. In recent times, there was a Ferguson incident some time back. New York also similar incident took place. Now it is Baltimore. Here, one African American, Freddie Gray, was taken into police interrogation, and subsequently, because of the injuries sustained, he died after a week. And this incident created lot of hue and cry, and violent demonstrations were held in Baltimore and other places by African Americans. Even Barack Obama also expressed his dissatisfaction over the treatment of African Americans in United States of America. And finally, 6 policemen who were associated with the torturing of this Freddie Gray were booked, and charges were filed against 6 policemen responsible for the incident. Right, friends? Look into the next one. Japan Prime Minister visited United States of America. Japan is one of the closest allies of United States of America. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe visited United States of America, and an agreement was signed with regard to new defense guidelines. Japan and US would like to have new defense guidelines. This assumed significance in view of the fact that Japan has got some territorial dispute with its neighbor China. Japan has got territorial dispute with China with regard to Senkaku Islands in East China Sea. Senkaku Islands are situated in East China Sea, and there is a dispute with regard to these islands between Japan and China, and signing new defense guidelines assumed significance in view of strained relations of Japan with its neighbor China. Right, friends, look into the next one. Aggressive push by China. Last week, when Chinese Premier visited Pakistan, an agreement was signed for a road corridor through Pakistan to connect Arabian Sea. It was a part of Silk Road project. Now China wants to integrate China, Mongolia, Russia economic corridor. Now China wants to push 3 economic corridors. One is Pakistan-China economic corridor. Last week there was agreement with Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif when the Chinese Premier visited Pakistan, and now China talks about China, Mongolia, Russia economic corridor, and you all well aware about BCIM corridor, that is Bangladesh, China, India and Myanmar corridor, which is yet to be taken up, and China is aggressively pushing for these corridors, and at the same time AIIB, with the establishment of Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, now China wants to establish its supremacy in the world. Right, friends? Look into the next one. Indonesia executed 8 drug traffickers. Several countries expressed their dismay over the development. Last week, 8 drug convicts were executed. Out of 8, 2 belongs to Australia and others from Brazil, Nigeria and 1 Indonesian. These 8 people were executed. These cases pertains to 2005 when 2 ringleaders, Chan and Sukumaran, were caught carrying 8.2 kilograms of heroin from Indonesia to Australia, and subsequently charges were framed. Finally, 9 persons were given capital punishment, and out of which one Philippines lady was left out, and the remaining 8 persons were executed. And in response to this development, Australia was not happy with the development. It recalled its ambassador, and Brazil expressed its deep dismay over the development, and Amnesty International also called the act as utterly reprehensible. And please remember, Indonesia has got world's toughest laws as far as drug trafficking cases are concerned. Let us look at the next issue. Sri Lanka adopts 19th constitutional amendment. This constitutional amendment was approved. This executive president, this system came into existence in 1978. It has got unlimited powers, and recently constitutional amendment was adopted which reduces the powers of president, and the tenure of parliament as well as the president reduced from 6 years to 5 years, and president can contest for maximum 2 terms only. Basically, this constitutional amendment intends to reduce the unlimited powers given to executive president almost from 1978. Please look into the next issue. 56% of world's rural population have no access to health care. Very unfortunate part. 56% of rural population in the world and 22% of urban population have no access to health care. The report given by International Labour Organization. International Labour Organization is headquartered in Geneva. It released its report, and in its report it says that the difference between haves and have-nots is very high in Asia Pacific region. And other important point is out-of-pocket expenditure in India is very high, around 85%. What is out-of-pocket expenditure? When you are required to visit hospital, if you have insurance, insurance company will pay your medical bills. But in India, most of the people do not have proper insurance facility. That's why we have to pay from our pocket. We are paying around 85% of the money from our pockets, and only 15% is paid by insurance companies. That means out-of-pocket expenditure in India is very high. If you look at Western countries, out-of-pocket expenditure is very less, and most of the expenditure is being borne by insurance companies in Western countries. This is the major difference between India and Western countries. That means it signals that proper medical access is required in our country. Right, friends, look into the next issue. Birth of princess, 4th in line of succession of a royal family. All of us are familiar with Queen Elizabeth of England, and recently Prince William's wife Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, gave birth to a baby girl. She is the 4th in succession to the throne. Now, after Queen Elizabeth, it will be Charles, their grandson, their great-grandson, and subsequently this baby girl will be the 4th in succession for the throne. Right? Please look into the next issue. Messenger crashes into Mercury. Last week we discussed about Messenger. Messenger was launched by NASA. It was launched 11 years ago. The full form of Messenger you can see in this PPT, and it was launched 11 years ago. And this Messenger began orbiting around Mercury for the past 4 years, and it sent valuable data. And after orbiting around Mercury for 4 years, as it has ran out of fuel, it crashed into Mercury. Now Messenger is into history. Please don't forget, Messenger was launched by NASA and it orbited around Mercury, the innermost planet. Right friends? Books and authors. Destruction of the Babri Masjid was written by A.G. Nurani. You can have a glance at other books. And let us move on to the last event of the week. The richest fight of the century in boxing between Floyd Mayweather of United States of America and Manny Pacquiao of Philippines. Already Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the year 2014. Mayweather was the highest paid athlete with $105 million, and this competition tipped to be the world's costliest fight or fight of the century, and finally the winner is Floyd Mayweather to make his record of 48-0. Floyd Mayweather of United States of America won the title, defeating Manny Pacquiao of Philippines. And with this we will conclude today's lecture part, and have a nice time. Please do join for question and answer sessions of the week. Have a nice day. Thank you.